Hello everybody, my name is Trenox the Gamer and today I am doing my first video on YouTube. Also my first playthrough, so yeah, please don't judge me too much. I know this is gonna be as amateur as it can be, but yeah, I'm gonna try to do my best and I hope that you're gonna enjoy this playthrough. Yeah, the game that we have currently in front of us, Suzerain, is kind of a, well, not kind of, it's definitely a political management type of a game. It's also choose your own adventure and make your own decisions. Well, take the decisions from those that are offered to you. The game is quite interesting. I played a little bit of it. It was made by Torpor Games and published by fellow traveler in the December 4th of the last year. The reviews are good, so if you're gonna enjoy this, you might want to consider buying the game on Steam if you want. I would highly recommend. So yeah, without further ado, let's start with a new game. Yeah, progress. Well, I made it only to the intro, so not much of a progress right now. Although before I did a little bit and failed, but we'll see how we'll do this time. The reason that I failed is because I was trying to make an authoritarian state, but don't ask me why. Thought it would maybe work. I'm planning on reading everything. If you don't want me to do that, just write in the comments, and in the next episodes I won't do it. I will just read a few. I will just leave it for a few seconds so you can read it by yourself. So. 1908, Kingdom of Sorland. You opened your eyes to this world. You came from... Let's go with a middle one. A middle income family in the city of Holsord. Your parents named you Anton. As the only child of a diligent civil servant, you lived quite an ordinary childhood. Life was not bad. You were lucky enough to attend a well-known public school, but frequent fights broke out at the Rain family home. These made you feel uneasy. The years passed. During a history class at school, the bell started to ring unexpectedly. You heard a loud commotion outside. As everyone tried to figure out what was going on, the principal announced the historic revolution. The kingdom was no more. The Republic of Sorland was born. You were somewhat worried. After graduating, you passed the university exam with high marks. You had the opportunity to choose between several studies. You chose... Out of all these, I think I would go with history. I'm actually very interested in the history, so I will go with history at their university. During the first year, you attend a lecture with David Vichy. I hope that's how you read it. He was a well-known diplomat from the foreign ministry and the son of the president. After observing the hall in silence, he explained why realpolitik is important for successful foreign policy. He argued that a strategy based on practical and material factors would be much more successful in reaching Sorland's ambitions. Let's say I agreed in principle. Soldiers entered the campus in the evening ahead of the first election. Many were in shock as the uniformed men created a security cordon and started arresting the teachers. A group of students started gathering protests, along with your best friend Petr Vektern. You decided to avoid any confrontation at first. You heard a loud announcement that echoed through the campus. General Luderin declared martial law in order to restore the administration. Please stand back and disperse to your rooms. You quickly made your way towards the dormitory, avoiding the scene. You did exactly as they said. As you entered the room, you heard screams coming from the outside. You tried to go out to see, but the soldiers locked the doors. It was a gloomy year. The coup split the students into two groups and caused frequent fights. Torture and imprisonment of any opposing voice became a daily routine in there. You didn't want to stay idle and decided to join a political debate group. The dozens of debates helped you hone your oratory skills while also helping you grow your network. Even though the debates were pretty heated between different groups, you all grew from sharing ideas. In one of the meetings, Petr introduced you to one of his friends, Monica, who was a volunteer for the Swordish League of Women. You were immediately attracted to... I would definitely go for intelligence. The politically changed environment led you to... definitely not the socialists. Well, if I already went to politics, I wouldn't stay away, but I would join the Young Swords, the nationalists. As a country, that would be the main goal, like the well-being of a country. The radio relayed that the communist general Ricard surrounded Luderin and his troops, demanding the surrender. They refused and heavy fighting broke out across the country. You just couldn't believe it. The army was fighting among themselves. Sorland plunged into chaos. Ricard's sudden attack caused even more bloodshed in the country. He seemed different compared to fascist Luderin. Oh, so they are definitely fascist. Alright. In your opinion, however, he was more of the same. So you participated in a protest march. You were chanting, "One nation, one system, one people." You were marching against Ricard. The students and soldiers supporting the coup gathered a few hundred meters away. Many socialists were among them. You knew something was going to happen. You stayed. There was a massive clash between the two sides. Soldiers began to beat the students. Tanks started rolling forward. In this chaotic moment, you saw a young girl about to get run over by a tank. Oh, fuck. You ran to save her. But you couldn't reach her in time. You never forgot her face. Fuck's sake. The clashes escalated into a full-blown civil war. The horrors made you isolate yourself for a while. Monica helped you cope, and love grew between the two of you. However, it was a difficult time for love. The chaos must end. Yes. The charismatic Colonel, Tarkin Sol, orchestrated a sudden coup and brought an end to the chaos. He wrote a new constitution and restored stability. The people saw him as a savior. He formed the United Sorland Party and ran as a presidential candidate in the first ever elections. You voted for the United Sorland Party. USP won the election by a large majority. After graduation, you kept seeing Monica and noticed her interest to marry. However, a letter arrived from the military calling you to fulfill your compulsory service. It was time to serve your national duty. A devastating civil war broke out in the neighboring country Velen. The distinguished Major, Josef Lancea, ordered you to lead your squad on a border patrol mission. It was very cold winter night when you began marching out of a Gumren outpost. You could see your breath. After several hours of marching through the snowy hills, distant noises were heard. Visibility was too low to confirm the source. The squad crawled forward in formation and found a spot to observe. A group of refugees had made it beyond the border fence. You escorted them back, let them slip through. Well, there was a civil war, so these people are only running from the fight, scared for their life. Let them slip through. After the patrol, Major Lancea arrived with anger and immediately relieved you of your command, calling you a disappointment. One of your squad members had reported your actions. After several months of scrubbing the floors as a punishment, your duties ended and you went back to civilian life. Because I'm currently living in Europe, I think those two... I'm not sure if the things that now are happening with immigrants and these refugees is the same as those in the game. You and Monica decided to share your lives together. After receiving the blessing of her parents, a ceremony was held in Holsrod. During the same year, you worked hard to secure a high-paying job at the governing United Sorland Party. It was much more difficult to start your career on a good foot because of the refugee incident, but you still managed. Yeah, but those people were like... These people now that are going through Europe are basically stealing, breaking into people's houses and doing all kind of shit. But these people were at our border right here, just scared of the civil war. So working for the ruling party was the easiest path to power. The financial compensation was too great to pass up. It is the best opportunity to change the country for the better. That's right. You became the foreign policy assistant to one of the more experienced members of assembly. You worked long and hard, staying late to work, reviewing dozens of foreign policy plans. You were climbing the ladder. Sol strengthened the Republic by removing the institutions and symbols of the former kingdom from society. Things were looking up for the country as the massive economic boom continued, and people were the happiest they had been in a decade. Election time came, and it was decided. President Tarkin Sol was elected once more. The preparation of the most comprehensive trade agreement with Agnolia was occupying most of your personal time, but your significant contribution to the trade talks triggered an invitation to meet President Tarkin Sol himself, who offered you a key position. You were to become the youngest member of an assembly. You accepted right away. As the youngest MP, it was difficult to connect with the influential inner circle. You needed allies, so you brought Peter as your right-hand man. The birth of your son, Franz, provided a brief moment of joy and relief. You... Fuck. I'm gonna be probably considered a bad person if I sacrificed family to improve your position in the party, but I really want to do that. I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna go with this one. Along with Peter, you have done great things to cement your position in the party. Meanwhile, at home, Monica and friends felt your absence. At the same time, President Sol increased his authority over the years. His growing ego started to cause strife within the party. The cracks began to show. President Sol barely secured a majority in the election against the opposition leader. Over the past year, people were growing discontent with corruption and the worsening quality of life. Okay, so this is an allergy. Meanwhile, calls for a united Sorland party Congress became louder as a leadership struggle started to brew. You... watched from the sidelines, because you don't know what the next person will be, or how will it act for that same reason. The contender for party leadership was Evald Alfonso, a reformist and talented business magnate with a growing popularity within the party. Meanwhile, in a desperate effort to secure votes before the Congress, President Sol was meeting party members one by one. He approached you too. The president offered you the position of Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade in the next government if you backed him in the upcoming vote. Dude, you're corrupted. I will not be associated with that. You rejected. The party congress was nothing short of impressive. The banners of United Sorland were decorating every possible spot. Thousands of influential political figures, lobbyists, and benefactors gathered for this turning point. The voting for the party leadership began. You voted for Evald Alfonso. The efforts bore fruit as the contentious leadership vote was won by Evald Alfonso. During the Congress, Sol announced his retirement from politics. You knew the structure he had established was to stay. The country had become increasingly authoritarian. You... Right. You were happy that Sol was finally leaving, you were troubled by the departure, didn't care. I did care. I would care. I wouldn't say I would be all that happy that he left, because I mean he did establish it, but later you found that he was corrupted. I would say kind of troubled, because you don't know what's gonna happen. A month later, your daughter was born. Monica named her Diana. She motivated you during a tumultuous period in the party. Period in the party. The general elections were approaching. The United Sorland Party was under the new leadership of Evald Alfonso. You joined the party effort and campaigned for them. During the general elections, the main opposition leader was embroiled in a sex scandal with his secretary, diminishing their chances. The extensive privatization program proposed by Evald Alfonso secured an election victory for the United Sorland Party. Right. Over the next years, you... did your best in order to make Sorland a better place. If I went to politics, I would definitely do it for the people, not for myself. Because if you're doing for yourself, then, you know, what's the point? The presidency of Evald Alfonso saw many bold reforms, but was followed by a serious economic recession. The other parties announced their bids for the 1953 election, but the unfair system hampered all opposition efforts to win. You? Thought that your party could not survive another crisis. You were worried about the economic recession, worried that you're... No. Well, if you gave that much work into party, then sure. Together with Petr, your presence in the USP grew and you became the face of a new wing in the party. You effectively took over the leadership as president of Alfonso lost control of the country. The moment to make a move had come. You blamed Alfonso for crisis. Well, you know, it is his fault, right? Bold decisions. Let's just advise him to step down. He didn't take her advice seriously and started to reshuffle his cabinet, but most of his inner circle abandoned him. Your diplomatic attitude made the party vote you in as the leader. Following this, you announced that you would be running for president in the general election with Petr as your running mate. It was your turn. After visiting every city and town during the campaign, you made a speech on state television. You promised to enact democratic reforms, preserve national values. Preserve national values. Great nation of Sorland. Due to the incompetent leadership, enemies both internal and external are influencing our glorious nation. Today, more than ever, we need to unite under one flag and protect our values. Greci, Sorland. The broadcast ended. On election day, millions went out to cast their votes. It was time to face the truth. Chapter 1, President Reign. Well, I gotta say, the intro part, where you're kind of building your path to power, is very long compared to the other games. Okay, election promises. Zenton Reign, you have made many promises to the people of Sorland in order to gain their votes. They must be considered very carefully. Sorland's economy has been based on a planned doctrine since its formation until the former president, Ewald Alfonso, enacted free market reforms. Now the country finds itself in between two different economic systems. Fuck. Promotes planned economy. It can be good, but it also can be good. Free market, then again. Like free market with regulations, that would be good. I will not go with full planned economy. I will go with the free market. Diplomacy, the intensifying global rivalry between capitalist Arcasia and in the west and communist United Contana in the east is opening new diplomatic possibilities. Sorland could take steps to align itself closer to one. West-East neither. Fuck. I would like to be non-aligned, to be honest. I don't want to go with East, because these guys are communists, and I don't personally find that interesting or good. Then again, to the West... Fuck. I don't know, probably neither or West. Let's go with the West. Immigration. In recent years, Bludish, Wezek and Agnolian immigrants flocked to Sorland due to relaxed immigration laws enacted by Ewald Alfonso. As a result, tensions in between swords and immigrants have been increasing. Keeping immigration relaxed, tightening immigration. I would tighten the immigration. Turn focus. We have also promised to focus on a certain extensive subject within the first term. The people expect us to solve the negative situation within this topic while providing an overall improvement to the related policies. Health, education, law, and enforcement, military. I don't know. I think I would go with health, because you can't have anything else if you're not gonna improve the life of your citizens, because the education won't matter at that point. You know, if people are gonna die easily, you know, from any sickness, or they're not gonna live the length of an average person. For example, you die earlier than, I don't know, probably 50 years or something, or you're not gonna get a good healthcare system or something. Yeah, I'm gonna go with health. I'm sure about my decisions. So guys, this has been already 25 minutes of this video. I do not plan to make my videos longer than that, apart if you want it so. But I think I'm gonna stop here. This is kind of a cliffhanger for those who didn't play the game or are interested. But yeah, I will be making a next video probably tomorrow or the day after. So yeah, stay tuned if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this, if you think you're gonna enjoy, please stick around. Thank you, and bye bye.